Macau's decade-long casino boom made it the world's top centre for gaming, but now the downturn, which is almost a year old, has put it in a serious funk. Joining me now is Fischer of CLSA. Aaron, thanks for joining us. There have been a lot of negative headlines about Macau recently. Just how bad are things over there?
The first 3 months of this year, we've seen revenue declines of about 40%. And in 1 month in February, it was down 48%. So these numbers are definitely worse than expected. Looking back at over the last 10 years, the average growth rate has been about plus 30%. So seeing these huge declines has definitely caught people by surprise. And for the full year this year, we're looking for a decline of 26%. So this is really the biggest decline we've seen in Macau for 10 years.
The slowdown kind of came unexpectedly and it's lasted longer than people thought. What's behind it, and is there any light at the end of the tunnel?
Well, I think there's been four main reasons why we've seen the decline in gaming revenues. The first one is really been the impact of the anti-corruption measures, and I would say that probably explains more than 50% of the decline in gaming revenues. Secondly, we've seen a weaker macroeconomic environment than we expected. Thirdly, the junkets have been under pressure. Their profitability has been declining, and therefore they've been less willing to chase business down in China. In fact, they've been giving back to some of the operators some of the VIP rooms and some of the gaming tables. And fourth, we've seen a whole host of regulatory changes that have been negative as well. That includes things like the changing in the transit visas, smoking bans, changes in union pay. So there's been four main reasons, but the main one has been the anti-corruption measures.
So, I mean, are the casinos having to adjust their business models, tinker with the way they work in order to cope with the downturn?
There's not a huge amount they can do. I think they're trying to be more aggressive in terms of marketing to players, particularly on the mass market side. For sure, some of the VIP customers and the premium mass customers are deciding to stay away from Macau at the moment because of these anti-corruption measures. And also, if they are coming to Macau, they're probably gambling in lower volumes because of the weaker macroeconomic environment. So the companies are being more aggressive in terms of trying to market to the regular mass market customers. That's one thing they can do. Secondly, short term, they can try and adjust their cost base. The third thing they can look at is their new projects and making sure that these new projects are targeting the right segments and maybe focusing a little bit less on the VIP side.
I mean, these new projects you speak about, I mean, billions of dollars of investment going in. Is this good news? Is this bad news? I mean, what does it mean that we're going to have all these new casinos opening in the next couple of years?
I don't think we need any more gaming tables, but we definitely need more hotel rooms. There's a massive shortage of hotel rooms in Macau. We look at the number of hotel rooms which are controlled by the casino operators, and there's currently 16,000. That 16,000 is going to go to 28,000 over the next 2 or 3 years, but that compares to Las Vegas at 160,000. So we're still going to have a massive shortage of hotel rooms.
People talk about the Las Vegas model coming to Macau, like you say, the non-gaming, more hotel rooms, things like that. Obviously that's great if you're on a holiday, but does that make any difference to the bottom line of these companies or to shareholders? The
investment the companies are making in non-gaming is a requirement. So this is the cost of staying in business in Macau. You know, we think that these 6 Macau companies are very fortunate to have those licenses. And there's many other companies around the world, whether it's Genting or Caesars, would love to have a license in Macau. So you know, they need to invest in non-gaming to stay in business in Macau and also to get more tables for these new projects.
The chairman of Galaxy Entertainment recently said that this year was the beginning of a new era, a new chapter. Is that how you see things? Is it the end of another era that we're looking at now in Macau?
Look, as analysts and investors, we look at the revenue growth rate, and of course we are at the end of an era because we saw this explosive growth for a long period of time. I mean, 1 year we had 57% growth, the following year we had 41% growth, and now we're in a period of decline. But for the most part, the government hasn't overextended itself. It's been collecting very high gaming taxes over the last few years and only spending about half of those revenues. So it's got a big buffer, big budget surplus. The gaming companies themselves have not been overextended. I mean, sure, they're building new projects, but they've had a huge amount of cash flow from existing projects to fund the new projects. And the people in Macau are in good shape as well. Unemployment rate's close to zero. GDP per capita is one of the highest in the world. So I think the only hard part is for investors that bought these shares at the top, and we've seen a 50% decline in the share prices.
Aaron, thank you for joining us.
Okay, thanks.